You want to know what's really happening behind the scenes in WWE? You want to know why the wrestling world is absolutely losing its mind over Jade Cargill right now? Well, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about how WWE treats its female superstars. This isn't just another wrestling story. This is about respect, professionalism, and the disgusting double standards that are plaguing our industry right now. And if you're one of those people who thinks this is just entertainment and doesn't matter, then you're part of the problem. What happened to Jade Cargill during that match wasn't just an accident. It was a failure of epic proportions, and somebody needs to be held accountable. Let me paint you the picture of what really went down during that match. Jade Cargill, one of WWE's most promising and physically dominant superstars, was putting on the performance of her career. She was commanding that ring like the absolute powerhouse she is, showcasing exactly why she's considered one of the future faces of the women's division. But then it happened. In the middle of executing what should have been a career-defining move, her attire completely failed her. And I'm not talking about a minor wardrobe adjustment here. This was a full-blown malfunction that left Cargill exposed in front of thousands of live fans and millions watching at home. Now, here's where this gets absolutely infuriating. This wasn't just some freak accident. This was a preventable disaster that never should have happened to a performer of Cargill's caliber. She's been wrestling professionally for years. She knows her body, she knows her moves, and she definitely knows what kind of gear she needs to perform at the highest level. So how did WWE's supposed professional wardrobe department allow this to happen? How did they let one of their top female talents walk into that ring wearing gear that wasn't tested, wasn't secure, and wasn't suitable for the physical demands of professional wrestling? The answer is simple and it's going to make you angry: they didn't do their job. You know what really gets me fired up about this whole situation? The fact that male wrestlers never have to deal with this kind of humiliation. When was the last time you saw a male superstar's gear fail him during a crucial moment? When was the last time a male wrestler had to continue performing while dealing with a wardrobe malfunction that could have derailed his entire career? I'll tell you when: never. Because WWE makes sure their male superstars have gear that's functional, practical, and designed for the rigors of professional wrestling. But when it comes to female wrestlers, oh, they get costumes that are designed to look pretty first and function second. This is the kind of systemic sexism that's been plaguing professional wrestling for decades, and it's absolutely disgusting that it's still happening in 2025. Jade Cargill deserves better. Every female wrestler deserves better. And before you start typing in the comments about how this stuff happens, let me stop you right there. This stuff happens because the people in charge allow it to happen. They prioritize appearance over functionality, and when things go wrong, they act like it's just part of the business. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not part of the business. It's negligence, plain and simple. Now, let's talk about how Jade Cargill handled this absolute disaster, because her response is the only thing that gives me hope in this entire mess. When her gear failed her, when she was left in an impossible situation in front of all those people, she didn't panic. She didn't break character. She didn't let it derail her performance. She continued wrestling. She adapted on the fly. She showed more professionalism in that moment than most wrestlers show in their entire careers. And you know what? That's exactly what we should expect from someone of her caliber, but it's also something that never should have been necessary. Cargill demonstrated why she's not just a great athlete, but a true professional. She turned what could have been a career-ending embarrassment into a testament to her mental toughness and dedication to her craft. But here's the thing that really gets me: she shouldn't have had to. No performer should ever be put in a position where they have to choose between their dignity and their performance. No wrestler should have to overcome equipment failures that could have been prevented with basic quality control. And no superstar should have to demonstrate their professionalism by working through a situation that never should have occurred. Of course, the internet absolutely exploded after this incident, and the reactions were exactly what you'd expect from our toxic wrestling culture. Within minutes, clips were circulating on every social media platform, with some fans actually celebrating the malfunction like it was entertainment. Let me be crystal clear about this: if you shared those clips, if you made memes about this incident, if you treated Jade Cargill's embarrassing moment as your entertainment, then you're part of the problem. You're contributing to a culture that dehumanizes female performers and treats their dignity as disposable. But thankfully, not everyone reacted like a complete scumbag. Many fans rallied behind Cargill, praising her professionalism and calling out WWE for putting her in that position. These are the fans who understand that wrestling is about athletic performance, not about exploiting performers when their equipment fails. The wrestling community showed its true colors during this incident. Some people revealed themselves to be thoughtful, supportive fans who understand that wrestlers are human beings deserving of respect. Others showed that they're just creepy losers who view female wrestlers as objects for their entertainment. Which category do you fall into? Because your reaction to this incident says a lot more about you than it does about Jade Cargill. And what was WWE's response to this preventable disaster? Basically nothing. No public apology to Cargill. No acknowledgement that their wardrobe department failed one of their top talents. No commitment to ensuring this never happens again. Instead, they just moved on like nothing happened, probably hoping that the controversy would blow over and everyone would forget about it. Well, I'm not going to let them off the hook that easily, and neither should you. This is a company that makes billions of dollars off the backs of performers like Jade Cargill. They have the resources to ensure that every piece of gear worn by their wrestlers is properly tested and secured. They have the technology to prevent these kinds of malfunctions. They have the responsibility to protect their performers' dignity. But they didn't do any of that. They failed Jade Cargill, and their silence in the aftermath is just as disgusting as the original incident. You know what WWE should have done? They should have immediately issued a public apology. They should have taken responsibility for the equipment failure. They should have announced new protocols to prevent future incidents. And they should have made it clear that protecting their performers' dignity is their top priority. Instead, they did nothing. And that tells you everything you need to know about how much they actually value their female talent. This incident with Jade Cargill isn't just about one wardrobe malfunction. It's about a pattern of disrespect and negligence that's been going on for years in professional wrestling. Female wrestlers are constantly dealing with gear that's designed for looks rather than function, and when problems arise, they're expected to just deal with it. Think about how many times you've seen female wrestlers adjusting their gear during matches. Think about how many times you've seen them having to work around clothing that wasn't designed for the physical demands of wrestling. Think about how many times they've had to sacrifice their comfort and safety because someone thought it was more important for them to look a certain way. This is systematic discrimination, and it's been normalized for so long that most people don't even recognize it anymore. But incidents like what happened to Jade Cargill force us to confront the reality of how female wrestlers are treated in this industry. And here's what really gets me: Jade Cargill is one of the most physically impressive athletes in all of professional wrestling. She's strong, she's skilled, and she's absolutely dominant in that ring. But because she's a woman, she's forced to wear gear that prioritizes her appearance over her athletic performance. Male wrestlers get to focus on being athletes. Female wrestlers have to be athletes and eye candy, even when those two requirements are in direct conflict with each other. When Jade Cargill finally addressed this incident on social media, her response was absolutely perfect. She handled it with humor, grace, and dignity, showing once again why she's destined to be one of the biggest stars in WWE. But you know what? She shouldn't have had to respond at all. She shouldn't have had to reassure fans that she's okay after being failed by her own company. She shouldn't have had to demonstrate her resilience in the face of a problem that never should have existed. Her response showed incredible maturity and professionalism, but it also highlighted just how unfair this entire situation was. Here's a woman who's worked her entire career to get to WWE, who's proven herself as an elite athlete, and who's earned the respect of fans and colleagues alike. And she had to spend her time and energy dealing with the aftermath of someone else's failure. That's not right. That's not fair. And that's not acceptable. Cargill's ability to turn this negative situation into a positive message about body positivity and self-acceptance is admirable, but it's also tragic. She took a moment where she was victimized by inadequate equipment and turned it into a teaching moment for her fans. That's the mark of a true professional, but it's also a reminder of how much pressure female wrestlers face to be perfect even when they're dealing with impossible situations. This incident is going to follow Jade Cargill for the rest of her career, and that's absolutely heartbreaking. Instead of being remembered for her incredible athletic ability, her commanding presence, and her meteoric rise in WWE, she's going to have to deal with this embarrassing moment being brought up over and over again. And that's exactly what's wrong with how we consume wrestling content. We focus on the wrong things. We sensationalize the personal struggles of performers instead of celebrating their professional achievements. We turn human moments into entertainment instead of recognizing the real people behind the characters. But here's what I want you to remember about this incident: Jade Cargill's response to this challenge showed exactly why she's going to be a superstar. She didn't let it break her. She didn't let it define her. She handled it with class and moved forward. That's the kind of mental toughness that separates good wrestlers from great ones. That's the kind of character that builds lasting careers. And that's the kind of resilience that inspires fans to be better people. So when you think about this incident, don't think about the malfunction. Think about how Cargill handled it. Think about the professionalism she showed. Think about the grace she demonstrated. Because that's what really matters. So what are we going to do about this? Are we going to let WWE continue treating their female wrestlers like second-class citizens? Are we going to accept that wardrobe malfunctions are just part of the business? Are we going to allow systemic discrimination to continue unchallenged? Or are we going to demand better? I'm calling on every wrestling fan watching this video to hold WWE accountable. Demand that they provide their female wrestlers with gear that's designed for athletic performance, not just appearance. Demand that they implement quality control measures to prevent equipment failures. Demand that they treat their female talent with the same respect and professionalism they show their male wrestlers. Use your voice. Use your platform. Use your purchasing power. Let WWE know that you won't accept this kind of treatment of their performers. And most importantly, support wrestlers like Jade Cargill who handle these impossible situations with grace and professionalism. Buy their merchandise. Attend their matches. Share their positive messages on social media. Show them that there are fans who appreciate them as athletes and human beings, not just as entertainment. This incident with Jade Cargill is a wake-up call for the entire wrestling industry. It's a reminder that we still have a long way to go before female wrestlers are treated with the respect and professionalism they deserve. But it's also a reminder that there are performers like Jade Cargill who are strong enough, professional enough, and resilient enough to overcome any obstacle put in their path. She turned a potentially career-damaging moment into a testament to her character, and that's exactly why she's going to be a superstar. The question now is: are we going to learn from this incident and demand better, or are we going to let it fade into wrestling history as just another example of how the industry fails its female talent? The choice is ours. What are you going to do about it? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video if you think this message needs to be heard. And remember, real wrestling fans support all performers, not just when it's convenient. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.